Back to the NFL. I want to talk a little bit about our Dallas Cowboys.
Ooh, let's talk about them.
The Dallas Cowboys. I want to talk a little bit about them. How do y'all feel?
How many wrinkled $20 bills do we have to sign free agents now? How many do we have left?
I think they went in my piggy bank the other day.
6.
My change jar, my change jar is gone, and I ain't even taking a cornstarch. That's
Jerry.
I woke up one day and I was just like, it was an IOU from the Dallas Cowboys. It had the star, and everything.
Like, who knows? They probably subpoena everybody's taxes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Let me take that. Like, they probably stole.
Yeah, they're gonna go to the city of Arlington next.
Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, look.
No, this is what I want to talk about. I want to talk about something. Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So. I'm a big Dallas Cowboys fan, of course.
Mm-hmm.
That's all three of us.
Yes. And, I wasn't really telling y'all. I was telling the people. All right? Okay? Now, big Dallas Cowboys fan, so I follow a lot of Dallas Cowboys YouTubers. And not even, just Dallas Cowboy YouTube. I follow a lot of football YouTubers. Mm-hmm. And what I found, especially in comments and stuff I've seen on, Blogging the Boys and stuff like that, and it's more this is more directed to comments. There's too many armchair GMs out there.
Oh yeah,
there's just too many Madden GMs. They feel like, oh, we can just turn the salary.
They think this is right.
We can just sign whoever we want. First of all, I want to say this: a lot of people was upset that the Dallas Cowboys didn't take advantage of the first wave of free agency.
But that's been the norm for like the last 5 or 6 years.
And that's because we done really well in the draft. But I also tell people, think about this.
What do we have?
We have no money. We have absolutely, positively no money.
Yep.
No money. Why do you think we let Hitchens walk? Come on.
He was getting paid $9 million a year.
We have no money.
Yep.
And everybody just they get so caught up in the big sexy signings and the big sexy contracts
from organizations that have tons of money to burn, just money coming out their ears.
Exactly. Why? Because they don't have people. One of the problems that we have with the Dallas Cowboys organization, and this is a lot of reasons I feel we haven't made it back to the Super Bowl. We sign our players to these big illustrious contracts that they're not going to get anywhere else, and then a few seasons down the road when we get back in cap hell, we restructure their deal and keep kicking the can down the road. And it's almost like a credit card. Like, hey, you can keep swiping that credit card, but eventually you're gonna max out.
You're gonna have to pay,
and you're gonna have to pay. So you have to.
And here we are.
It's pretty much like student loans.
Situation where, hey, Discover's knocking on your door like,
hello,
hey, where's my money?
Where my money at? Where's my money at?
It's pretty much like the RS too. Uncle Sam's like, hey, where's my money?
I feel personally that, a lot of people feel like because we had a great 2014 season that was stole from us.
Don't get me started.
And we had a very amazing, surprising 2016 season.
Right.
And then 2017, just anything and everything. Like, it just wasn't with the Cowboys. It was with the NFL organization as a whole. It was just so much
Well, let's not, we should have done better. There were things that the Cowboys should have done.
I'm just saying, no.
There was a lot of circumstances involving.
There was a lot of things that just went wrong all across the board.
Right.
People feel like we're right there. So let's just get a dude like an Earl Thomas, or let's get a Honey Badger. Let's just get one of these dudes to come in.
Yeah, and who are you cutting?
Who are you
cutting to free up the money for that?
But I feel like this. We kind of might be 2 or 3 seasons away from a championship, like or a world championship. We might be a little bit away. Why? Because I think once we get out of cap hell, which this is the last season that we'll really be in cap hell. Next season we'll have, I think, anywhere from $50 to $60 million.
And then almost dead money comes off the books.
Almost dead money comes off. So I think that after that, we will really be able to. I think next season in free agency, you'll see the Cowboys. I think they're still going to be
No, I still think they're gonna be frugal.
They're gonna be frugal and smart, but you'll see them go out there and they'll get a guy that wants a $16 million contract because maybe they have the money to store. But as of now, I think we need to come to the conclusion that next season might not be our season. We can hope for the best. We can hope that we put the people in place.
But then again, we never know. It could be just like 2016 all over again. Especially if they get that offensive line in order, because Tyron missed games.
Right.
And you had Chaz Turnstile Green.
Right.
That made Claiborne look like the next coming of Bruce Smith. I felt like from that point, that game against Atlanta, I felt like not only did Chaz Green lose his confidence, I felt like the offensive line as a whole lost his confidence. And then Dak, people were like, well, he's holding on to the ball too long. Well,
Dak's always held on to the ball too long, but I'm going to tell you why.
Skill positions are not getting open.
Yeah, they're not getting open, but last season or the season before this one, 2016 season, the O-line was giving him mountains and mountains of time in the pocket.
Right.
So he came
more to sort of lean on it.
And he came more sort of lean on. So when now you fast forward and your left tackle is out with an injury, you got a left guard over here who's doing pretty decent. But you can't see your blind side, so you're just like.
Larry left in free agency.
Yeah,
Doug Free retired,
right.
and people clammed on Doug Free a lot. But I felt like he was a great run blocker, and I felt like he was sorely missed a lot more than people realize. It's the same thing with Larry. You got a lot of if you have a lot of turnover on that offensive line, new personnel that has to gel with 3 All-Pros, it's going to take time to adjust. Just like we overhauled our secondary with a bunch of rookies. I told people this. It's going to take time for them to adjust to the NFL level. This isn't college, okay? Everybody's as fast at this level, okay? Right. For quarterbacks,
you're all good.
Like for quarterbacks in college, is the windows are open at least 10 seconds longer than the windows in the NFL. In the NFL, that window closing in 4 seconds or less.
Right.
Yeah. All the other people have been through a much tighter filter.
Right.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I had a problem with people talking about Taco Charlton. He's a bust. Like, he was a 28th overall pick. He was a late first-round pick. Could have been a second-round pick because he wasn't the highest player on our board. It's not like he was a top 5 pick.
Right.
It's not like I was expecting him to get 15 sacks in his rookie year. It was going to take time for him to adjust.
I will say, I agree with your point. I think he underperformed for a first-round pick, but he's not a bust. I would say we should have seen a little bit more out of him, given that he was a first-round pick.
I'm not going to say. Look, I'm not going to say he underperformed.
Forgot he was a first-round pick.
What?
For Taco, look, I'm not going to say he underperformed. I didn't have my
expectations. He was almost a second-round pick.
Almost a second-round pick because the Cowboys didn't have a first-round grade on him. They gave out 18 first-round grades. The last grade they gave out was Dalvin Cook. And with Zeke there, you're not going to choose Dalvin Cook there. You know what I'm saying? There's too many resources in the running back position.
Right.
Okay? So you going with Taco Charlton, for one, he's the best edge rusher on the board. Not only that, if you don't pick him, he's going to get snatched up in the second round.
True.
Because the edge rusher from that particular point, it's pretty much jump off the cliff. No man's land. So they had to get the best edge rusher on the board. I didn't have high expectations for him. I told people that this was going to be a bit of adjustment. He's going to have to learn how to use his technique consistently.
Right.
He's got to learn how to play with consistency. You know what I mean? He's got 33.5-inch long arms. He's going to have to learn how to use his length. Once he learns how to use his length, we saw that the final 4 games of the season. Mm-hmm. He was disruptive.
Right.
He was all right.
I'm telling you right now, if we're
Jeremy, I want you to weigh in on the Taco situation.
Look, okay, I'm gonna put it like this. Okay, if we compare the last 4 games to the other, I'm not good at math, like 12 games. The last 4 games he did a lot better than he did in the first 12 games of the season.
But the last 2 of those didn't even count.
But you saw progress nonetheless. You
we
rather
saw progress, but I'm gonna be honest. I like David Irvin better.
Look. I'm not saying that I like David Irvin better too, but I'm telling people is don't sleep on Taco.
Okay, well, I mean, I will say this. I agree with you. I saw the flashes, but I wasn't just overly impressed. In fact, I wasn't overly impressed with the signing. You know, it wasn't like the 2016 draft.
Oh,
with
dear
the first
God.
round, we got Zeke, and everybody's running back. You know, I remember I was at work. You know, and everybody's running back in. We got Zeke. We got Zeke. Mm-hmm. And I'm like,
well, what are you expecting? We're picking at the bottom of the first round.
I mean, I get it. It's not about being at the bottom of the first round, but I will say this. I just don't think, even if we was picking at the bottom of the first round is a huge thing for any sports fan. Any football fan. I mean, the first round is a big deal. Because the first round is going to be the cornerstone guy of that draft class. You know, it's the first guy we picked. So when you had granted, the 2016 draft class was just God tier,
right?
But I think people got spoiled.
You know, we did get spoiled, but if you think about it, the first round guy is normally that guy you're like, man, we're so happy we got him. Think about back when they drafted Tyron Smith in the first round, you know?
Yeah, but here's a difference. You know, here's a difference between that. He was a top 10 pick.
I understand that, but I'm saying that, think about, I don't care if we was picking at the bottom of the barrel or we was picking at the top. First round is
first round.
First round is, you know, you're going to be like, dang, I like my guy. I don't care if you're picking at 32. You're going to be like, dang, I like that guy we got it in the first round. You know?
Yeah, I get it. But what I'm saying is people have high expectations for
a first rounder. Yes.
I'm not just talking about top 20 first round picks. I'm talking about late first round picks. How many late first round picks do you know of that's just turned into legit superstars? Okay, I'm going to go right down the list. Byron Jones, we picked him at number 27. In the 2015 draft, I think. Yeah. Okay, he's turned into a solid contributor. Not a superstar, but a solid contributor.
Fair.
Okay, Taco Charlton at best is going to be a solid rotational piece contributor. Okay, I expect the 3 sacks to jump up to 6 sacks next season. You know what I'm saying?
To be honest, I'm gonna say this. I'm hoping that he does improve, and I think he will.
I think he will improve. It's a process. It is. He's a late first round pick. Now, if it was like Myles Garrett or somebody, or like Von Miller, who went number 2 in the 2011 draft,
and he had that season, we'd be upset.
Yeah, then we'll be upset. You know what I'm saying? Von Miller was highly regarded coming out of Texas A&M, and for good reason. He's a great pass rusher. Right. And he was picked at number 2, and he made an impact right from the start.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, you don't see many late first round pass rushers make a big jump unless it's a guy that you wasn't expecting to be there. Like the whole Randy Gregory situation is, he was expected to be a top 5 overall pick, and for good reason.
Right.
Tremendous pass rusher. You know what I'm saying? Has a swim move, can bull rush. Was a little undersized, but for the most part, he was everywhere. But the only reason why he fell to the second round is because of drug issues. He failed a drug test at the combine. Pretty fair. He was a great pass rusher coming out of Nebraska.
I mean, there are a huge number of NFL players who were fantastic on the field, but could not keep it together.
But it wasn't for the lack of talent.
Right.
It wasn't for lack of talent. It's mostly dealing with personal issues, demons. You get what I'm saying?
Right. Which is a legitimate.
It's a legitimate thing. Like Josh Gordon. I mean, he went undrafted, but in 2013 he lit up the NFL world. But from that point forward, he had drug issues. He was in and out of rehab. You never really could depend on him to be there every game. And once he finally did get into rehab and he got his life together, this past season, he picked up right where he left off. It's not for the lack of talent. Normally, sometimes when a player falls, it's dealing with personal issues. Maybe not even dealing with himself, but maybe family issues, his upbringing, background, etc.
So things that take the focus away from the game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how y'all feel about these few free agency signings? We just got one. Okay, we're recording this on a Sunday, so we just got word early this morning that we signed another guard / center.
I think Marcus Martin is a depth piece, a good depth piece, because again, Tyron Smith got injured, and Chaz Turnstile Green. I'm calling him Turnstile Green until he proves me otherwise. Stunk up the joint, so I think he's a good depth piece. Cameron Fleming is more than likely going to take over that right tackle spot, which will move Lyle Collins back to the guard spot.
I mean, I don't know. Because think about it. It depends on what they do in the draft. If Will, don't touch my quarterback, Hernandez, is there at 19.
Is that his full
name? That's his full name.
Okay.
Will, don't touch my quarterback, Hernandez. First of all, let me just tell you this, okay? I've been saying this. I'm okay with not getting a Calvin Ridley. I'm okay without not getting, a defensive piece, not trading up to get, like a Derwin James or a Roquan Smith or something like that. I'm okay with that. I'm okay trading back, getting Will, don't touch my quarterback, Hernandez. Okay. First of all, he's already been hanging out with the O-line. He's out there.
Well, that's because they have the same. That's because they have the same agent.
I don't give a care listen here. It is destiny, okay?
I mean, I hate to burst your bubble.
Listen here. It is destiny.
Does this make him Destiny's Child? Is that...
Nah, bro. Destiny Child fulfilled.
He's never Beyonce, all right?
Okay, got it.
He's not Beyonce, okay? So, but
plus, he has a really catcy name. I mean, Will, don't touch my quarterback. Hernandez is just it rolls off the tongue.
I think his parents named him that. No, I'm kidding.
He has many middle names.
Yeah, but I think he would be great. Like I've been telling people. And it's funny because we've been talking about sports for a whole hour.
My goodness.
I mean, this is this is turned into a sports cast.
We struck a sports nerve.
But I've been telling people this. In the draft, especially since seeing these pieces that we got, like we got linebackers, you're still going to want to get a linebacker. Somewhere in the draft, between the first and third. I do think that because of these signings, they're gearing up to pick the best person available.
Best player available, yeah. And I think...
But I will say this. Unless... It's one of those things where... Because you kind of look at it like this. They just signed 2 wide receivers, which I've been saying the whole time. I don't think they meant to sign 2 wide receivers. I think what ended up happening was they wasn't sure that they was going to get Allen Hurns. So they went on ahead and signed the Deontay Thompson guy. I'm thinking that because the Allen Hurns thing, it took like almost a week to finalize the details. I don't think they thought they was going to get him. So they're like, hey, this guy is here. Let's go ahead and lock this guy up. Because I think they only signed him to a 1-year thing. Mm-hmm. And you see they signed Allen Hurns to 2 years. So I'm thinking they wasn't thinking they was going to get Allen Hurns or at least get him at a team-friendly deal. So they said, let's go ahead and sign this other guy to, kind of be there for some depth purposes, maybe replace. Well,
I think Deontay Thompson is to replace Bryce Butler.
No, that's right. But I think had they already signed Allen Hurns, he would have replaced Bryce Butler.
No.
You don't think so?
No, because Allen Hurns can play the X and he can also play the slot. He's more of an X receiver. To me, I do believe they did try to go after Sammy Watkins.
They did.
And it reported $16 million a year.
Sammy Watkins hasn't did anything.
Sammy Watkins and Allen Hurns are basically the same type of player. Have the same number. Well, I ain't gonna say almost the same number of career starts, touchdowns, yards after catch. They basically got Sammy Watkins, Allen Hurns for $6 million a year versus $16 million a year that the Kansas City Chiefs are paying them. The per year average was on point with the Chiefs. The only difference was the guaranteed money. The guaranteed money was too low.
And if you can get it,
I'm sorry, I don't think they signed him for a number 2 because if you think about it, they're gonna get a wide receiver in the draft, and number 2, we got Noah Brown still there. You get what I'm saying? We got Noah Brown there. We got Ryan Switzer, who is definitely going to be integrated into the offense a lot more this season in year 2. So I don't think they was necessarily signing Deontay Thompson we're going to make him a number 2 guy. Again, I think they thought that, hey, we might not get Allen Hurns, so let's go ahead and lock this guy up at least for a season just in case and see what happens during the draft.
Like Deontay Thompson is... He also has some value in the special teams as well, kick returner.
Yeah.
So Ryan Switzer, they put him at punt return, and they put Deontay Thompson at kick return. So he also has some value in the special teams as well.
Okay.
I still think Allen Hurns is a number 2. I don't think he's a number 1.
But a solid
that's
producer.
What I said. But that's what I've been saying. I said that he would have replaced, because I guess T. Will was a number 2,
right?
And Bryce was a number 3.
So who's going away?
Because it becomes a numbers game at that point.
Because I'm gonna tell you like this: you already right now. Well, you think about it. We still got Lance Lenore. I don't see him coming back. And if they can, they might kick him back on the practice squad. But I don't see him actually being on the active roster. You have Noah Brown that's going to be there. I think depending on what he does in the OTAs and the training camp and all that, maybe they'll keep him around, but he might be gone too. I think they're going to draft another receiver somewhere, because this draft class that's coming out is loaded with receivers. I mean, you got
is a position that we're
struggling
with.
So we have people like Calvin Ridley, we got Courtney Sutton, we got Equinemius St. Brown,
DJ Moore.
I
like it.
We have receivers out there, and that's the reason why I'm like, hey, I'm okay with not getting a receiver in the first round. Like, don't get me wrong, I want Courtland Sutton because I feel like he is a better Dez, and I feel like a lot of people say, hey, we need somebody who can gain separation. We don't necessarily need somebody who can gain separation, because this is the reason why I say we need to pick somebody, an O-line person, some guard or something, or a guard that can play all the positions. We need depth. So I'm thinking like this: if you're at 19, you can either pick Will Hernandez at 19, or like if you feel like he's still going to be on the board, trade back. Pick Will Hernandez at 19. I've been saying this. Listen here. If you fix the line, everything will be fine. That's the point of contact. Because we got to look at it kind of like this. And this is another thing that kills me about a lot of Cowboys fans. Everybody say, oh, well, they pay all this money to these certain guys, and then, you're paying peanuts to everybody else, which is true. But we need to realize that there's very few teams in the NFL that are leveled on both sides on all 3 phases of the ball.
True.
You have certain teams that are offensive teams, and you have certain teams that are defensive teams. Like, for instance, you look at the Giants. That's a defensive team. So they're not going to spend a whole lot of money on their offense, because they're counting on, they're going to get an okay and an average offense that's able to move the ball, but they're going to count on their defense to make stops.
Yep.
With the Dallas Cowboys, we're an offensive team. We're a run-first team.
Yep.
So this is what this is. You don't have to necessarily try to find that. It's great if you can find a receiver that can get separation, but you don't necessarily have to find a receiver that got speed at the point of contact. Because
you just want to grind it out.
Because think about it. They're going to, especially you got Zeke. You got a physical back that can play all downs. He can catch great out of the backfield. I mean, he's damn near a receiver.
Right.
If you think about it in the grand scheme
extra
of things.
receiver, yeah.
And I think
he can block well. He does everything.
He does everything well. And I think had that suspension and all that had not happened, I think we would have saw him being integrated into offense as being a receiver more.
Yeah,
but think about this. You, like I said, you fix the line, everything will be fine. You want Zeke to run that ball down their throat. And then, boom, all of a sudden, your receivers are looking God tier because everybody is selling out to stop the run. So that's why I say fix the line, everything will be fine. Now, back to the receiver core. You can keep the receiver core the same way. You can keep Mr. Body Catch himself, T. Will. You can keep Loaf of Bread catching Dez Bryant. You can keep Cole Beasley, which another thing, a lot of people is like, oh, Cole Beasley had a down year. I mean, he was getting double teamed, and he's a small guy. He's not necessarily the athletic guy that you expect.
No, he's definitely athletic, but
he's athletic. But
when you're pulling double teams because Dez isn't as big of a threat as he's supposed to be,
and look at I'm saying he's not going to catch a ball like Dez will. He's not going. He doesn't have the size. To jump up there and catch those contested balls and stuff like that.
Well, you also got to look at this. Is teams got tape on Dak? Teams got tape on Dak now.
Yeah.
They saw B's as his favorite target. So they're gonna look, we're gonna double team B's. We're gonna take that away. We're gonna force you to throw outside the numbers.
But you don't think that if the line was better, Dez would have been better?
Yeah,
which means they would have been like, oh shit, Dez is still
you're totally right. And a run game would have been better. I mean, there are so many things that if the line was what they were in 2016.
Fix the line.
I totally agree. But Dez has got to catch the ball first. Because he had a case of the butteritis.
Okay, he did. He was sponsored by Parkay this season.
Sponsored by Land O'Lakes.
He was sponsored by I Cannot Believe It's Not Butter this season.
But
he is working with a route coach. Right. So that's a good thing.
We'll see.
I will see that works.
This year is going to be make or break for him.
And I think he knows. Because
if he makes it to the season.
That's the only thing. And I'm kind of getting scared. Like, for me, I just feel like, hey, you can say whatever you want to say about Dez. He cares about himself. But the dude loves the Cowboys.
Absolutely. And
he's done a lot for this Cowboys organization. He might have had a few years. I mean, technically, if you want to be technical, this past season was his worst year. You can't really count 2015 because he was injured most of the time. So, hey, that happened. 2016, it was still a down year. It wasn't like 1,000-yard season. But you got to think about it. We had a rookie QB, and they was running the ball more.
Yeah.
So
very run-focused game. And a rookie QB who likes to throw short.
Throw short. Ball. You got to think about that. So he wasn't getting as many opportunities. So you can't even – I still say that he had a decent 2016 season. 2017 was just a very off year for him. So I just feel like if I'm the Cowboys organization – if you're going to get rid of him now. Don't be trying to wait till June 1st so you can get extra money and get the most value for him. If you're going to get rid of him now. That way he can go to another team and actually have a chance. You don't want to wait till June 1st and he's trying to hopefully sneak onto somebody's preseason roster, hopefully for a spot, and he's competing, You don't want to do that to him because he's done so much for this organization, not just on the field, but if you think about merchandising, throw up the X, think about how many of them 88 jerseys they done sold since he's been in the league and been playing for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm sorry, he's done too much. I don't care if he has an off season. You can say you don't like him as far as his outbursts and his you can say he's selfish or whatever, but he's done so much. So if I'm the Cowboys, if you're going to release him, release him. But if you don't release him by the draft, you need to keep him another year. Because I'm going to tell you like this. If Dez goes somewhere else, Dez is going to be productive because I promise you they're going to find a way to use him more. Okay? They're going to find a way to use him more. He go up to New England. They going to the Super Bowl, and Dez might be going to the All Pro.
No,
okay? That would be they're gonna find a way. They're gonna find a way to use him. So honestly, if I'm the Cowboys, keep him one more year. Obviously, he realizes that hey, I need to step my game up. He's now working with a route coach. He realizes he's trying to better himself. Also, throw him in a slot more. We saw what happened this season. Every time he caught the ball in the middle, he was deadly. Stop putting him on the outside. Obviously, because of injuries, and he claims he was injured most of the season.
Tendonitis.
He had injuries, and he even had flashes of the old Dez even in the 2017 season. You throw him in the middle, he's gonna come back with a full rest this season. Give him an opportunity to do that. But you do draft his replacement. You go ahead and draft his replacement. But honestly, I don't think that we need to draft a receiver in the first round. I think we need to go ahead and solidify this O-line by getting a guard, by getting Will, don't touch my quarterback, Hernandez. He went to UTEP. He is meant to be a Dallas Cowboy. Like, getting back to Evan's first, initial question. What is going to happen at wide receiver? Because if they do draft a wide receiver, I think that even if they don't get Calvin Ridley, they're going to draft a wide receiver somewhere in that draft.
Oh, yeah.
If they get that guy, that means you have I think anywhere from 9 to 10 receivers on your roster.
People are leaving.
So it's just like, hey, do you bet on the young guys and get rid of some of the veterans? Because think about it. They just paid T. Will. I honestly think that if they're gonna get rid of somebody, they're gonna get rid of Cole Beasley.
I hate to say that because I love Beasley.
I love Beasley, and I'm one of them homer kind of guys. Like even with T. Will, like don't get me wrong, it pisses me off with them body catches, but he's one of them guys. I'm like, you're from the area, you know.
You played at Baylor.
Even, I mean, with Cole Beasley, he's from the area. He played at SMU. Then you get signed by the Cowboys. He went undrafted and then got signed by the Cowboys. And he's been productive. I feel like we will really be losing a person if we get rid of him. I think it's
I would take Beasley over him though. If
over T. Will,
yeah.
But see, the only thing
I know they just paid him, but I'm saying if I was the one making the decisions,
right. Beasley is you would actually get cap savings from him,
right?
As much as versus T. Will, it would actually cost you more to trade him or cut him.
What if they try to trade one of these new free agents they just signed?
I don't see that happening.
They're. Otherwise, they would have just been picked up as free agents. If they were good enough to be traded for, then they would have been picked up in free agency.
True, but let's just say Dallas had the best deal. You know what I'm saying? I don't see them trading Allen Hurns, but let's just say it gets down there, and then they realize we don't really need Deontay Thompson. He's just gonna be a bench guy.
Well, I mean, his contract is $1 million guaranteed. So obviously, if they're giving him that much money and guaranteed money, obviously they have a role for him on the roster. Right. It's going to come down to Beasley or Williams.
Right.
That's the odd man out.
Because I keep telling people Dez is going to still be there.
Right.
Like I don't care what they. Or I'm just saying.
Where there's now.
It could be a Noah Brown. Like you never know. We don't really know what they're seeing in there. You know? Because obviously. Technically, they didn't really have to sign a wide receiver in free agency because when Bryce Butler left, you still had Noah Brown back there.
Right.
If you notice, they added Noah Brown to the active roster towards the end of the season. So you had a receiver there. You actually had two receivers there. You had Lance Lenore and him. So they necessarily didn't have to sign a free agent. So that doesn't if they don't pick them guys, you know, I'm like, it just makes me feel like, hey, everybody. It's expendable at this point.
Yeah. I look at it like this. Lance Lenore, I think, is a cut candidate. Noah Brown, I think they're going to try and sneak him through the practice squad, even though I think he'll get picked up because I think he's a starting caliber wide receiver. Mm-hmm. It's more than likely we're going to pick a wide receiver in the draft, even if it's not at number 19, definitely 50 or 81.
I think
everything is shaping up to be look, we got 10 picks here. Now, we're not going to have 10 rookies on the roster.
Right.
That's why I said they're going to package some of those picks to move up into the top 15.
Well, you can package some of them picks up and try to work out a deal with Seattle for Earl Thomas.
Yeah, but they want right now. I think with the Cowboys, it's a waiting game. They're waiting for the price tag to drop because I found this.
This is how I feel. If you get rid of all of his buddies. Chances are you don't see Earl Thomas in your long-term plans. You're trying to play chicken to see if anybody's going to bite the bait.
Right. Look, I look at it. Look, the Seahawks wanted a first-round pick for him. Now, the second offer, I still don't see how their second offer jumped up. They wanted a first and a third.
I think it was just sort of a go away.
Right.
Like, hey, all right, you don't want to play ball? Here.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Even then, I don't think the Cowboys was playing ball with the first offer. It's like no team is gonna give them a first round pick. Now I could be wrong. No, because teams get desperate, but no team is gonna give up a first round pick for a 29-year-old safety who's had injuries and he's entering his 30s. Yep. To me, Derwin James is the same type of player as Earl Thomas, not only younger and cheaper.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So we have 10 picks. And we filled all the necessary needs that we need to in free agency. That's why.
I don't think we're quite.
I don't think we're quite. I'm talking about I'm talking about as far as positions of need.
Right.
Old linemen, wide receivers. They got 2 of each. Okay. Linebacker is not out of the realm as well. Okay, because even if they don't trade up, I can see them taking a guy like Leighton Vander Esch, linebacker from Boise State. He reminds me a lot of Sean Lee. The only difference is he doesn't get injured nearly as much as Sean Lee.
He's being drafted. We don't know.
Yeah.
we don't know that.
We'll see what happens. Hi, this is Germany, co-host of the Leg Podcast. Tune in every Monday, only on the TMC Network.